Our next section is the weave. Yes, the weave. Great. Very exciting. We happen to be doing the weave with our right shoulder to the audience. And we're going to be doing this in the key change verse of the song. You know it gets good when he does a key change. And we're going to be doing our weave as such. We're going to lower ourselves to the floor. We're going to change the dynamic of the weave and go a bit slower. And then we're going to go really fast with a swayback drop. So that is what we are dealing with in this section. So this is the combos that I'm showing you. Is how to do a weave into a swayback drop. But first, we got a lot to break down before we can get that far ahead. Advanced feather fan dancers. We're now going to talk about the weave. When we do our feather fan dancing, we are doing a 2-beat weave. When I say 2 beats, it means that there are 2 loops within the shape. If we were to be doing a single beat weave, we would just be drawing 1 big circle. If we were to be doing a 2-beat weave, we would be drawing 2 circles like this. If it was a 3-beat weave, there would be 3 circles, kind of like an ABC symbol, etc. You can go up. Generally from there you kind of travel in odd numbers. So you just from there you go to a 5-beat weave and a 7-beat weave. But for feather fan dancing, we can only do a 2-beat weave because we are limited by our anatomy and how much and in what ways our wrists are able to twist. So we're always focusing on a 2-beat weave. So that means what we're doing is a figure 8, a horizontal figure 8. Throughout the whole time we're doing our weave, we are always in our pinch grip. We're not grabbing it all the way here, we're pinching it. And we're doing our figure 8. Figure 8 in the left hand. The idea is that we are doing our figure 8 with both fans and we're doing them in split time. If we were to do a figure 8 in same time, it would be a lot like when you jump rope and you jump like a normal skip and then you do a cross skip. So if we were to do it in same time, we'd be going out and cross, out and cross. Both fans doing the same thing at the same time. It's hard to not make them, it's hard to do perfect same time because the fans are so big they'll hit each other. But that's the idea, is if we were doing same time, it'd be like jumping rope where both come out, both cross. You're doing figure 8s, the same figure 8s in both arms at the same time. But we don't want to do it at the same time to create a weave, we want to do it in split time. So to do it in split time, if we went back to our skipping rope analogy, it would be the same as one arm doing a regular skip while the opposite arm is doing its cross skip. And then when one arm is doing its regular, the other arm is doing a cross. So instead of being like this, we're like this. Does that make sense? There are a few different ways to think about it, but there are a few key things that you must remember. The first thing is, when we are doing a 2-beat weave, which is the kind of weave we have to do in feather fans, we always have one wrist underneath. For me, I personally prefer my left wrist underneath. When I say there's one wrist underneath, I'm going to demonstrate doing a weave now and you can see. Do you notice how my right arm crosses over the top of my left arm, but my left arm never crosses over the top of my right arm? That is always the case for a 2-beat weave. If I was doing a 3-beat weave using poi, there may be times when I would switch which wrist is on top. However, in this case, we never switch it. So if you are noticing yourself with one arm going on top and then the other arm going on top, you know that that's where you're messing up. And that's something that can really throw you off guard because you're still doing a figure 8 and everything seems correct, but it's just not quite working. Make sure you always keep one arm on top. It will work no matter which arm you keep on top. I mentioned that in the weave there is always one arm that stays underneath and one arm that stays on top, and I mentioned that I prefer to have my right arm on top and my left arm beneath. And the reason for that is because I am right-handed. And if I'm right-handed, one way to think about it is to think of it as my right hand leading and my left hand following. So if I think about it in that way, I hold my right fan in standard grip, so my fingers are on top. My thumb, sorry, is on top, and my feathers curl upwards in standard. My left fan is following, so my left fan is going to have fingers on top, like that. The feathers are curling down for the left, curling up for the right. And I'm thinking about just focusing on the right hand doing the weave. My left fan, I'm going to pretend those feathers are glued there, and they're going to travel as one unit. So I'm going to come up and over, do the weave with the right hand, and the left fan is really just following along. Following along, following along. And as you get more and more comfortable with this idea of following, you can start to introduce a bit of a gap between the feathers. And so you've got the left fan chasing the right fan. And you'll notice that as I do this, whether I have that gap or whether I go back to having them glued, you'll notice how my left arm is always the arm that goes underneath in terms of the cross. This just now here where we've got the cross, my left arm is always underneath when I'm leading with my right arm. If you are left-handed, you may find it easier to have your right arm underneath. You may find it easier to lead with your left arm. If you're leading with your left arm, your thumb of your left hand is pointing up. Your fingers of your right hand are pointing down. So feathers are curling up on your left, feathers are curling down on your right. And we're going to come up and over with these feathers glued together, coming up, letting the left hand lead the weave, the figure 8. So in this, when I'm doing it this way and I'm thinking about driving it with my left hand and my right arm following, you'll notice how when we get to this cross, my right arm is the arm that is underneath. And as we get more comfortable and we start to space it out, you end up doing this, which is the same weave, but in this case, I've got my right arm underneath instead of my left arm underneath. They are both correct. It's truly just a matter of which one you're more comfortable with. And also you'll probably find as you're dancing, there might be certain times when, depending on what move you're coming in from, you may have to have one arm on top and one arm underneath, depending on your transitions in and out of the move. So it's good to be aware of both, and it's really good if you can get comfortable with both. But it's tricky, it's a real mind workout. I just want to do one easy. So that's one way to think about it. You can think about it as one fan leading and the other fan following, whether it be your right hand or your left hand, whether your right hand is on top or your left hand is on top. You must pick one and stick with it throughout the duration of that weave session. Another way you can think about it is like the Macarena. And again, you can decide which arm you want to work on having on top and which one you want to have on the bottom. But when I say Macarena, it's because when we dance the Macarena, we have this concept of palms up, palms down, palms up, palms down. It's just, this is the base idea when we think about doing the weave as the Macarena. So if we've got our fans pointing up, let's start with our left hand. Put the palm down, right hand down, left hand up, left hand up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. The point being here that the fan that you put down first is also the fan that you peel out first, which seems unintuitive because you've stacked your right fan on top. So you kind of want to open that one first so you can release the second. That's not how you do it. Whatever fan goes down first is also the fan that you pull out first. Down, down, out, out, down, down, out, out. But we know that we have a cross in our arms when we do our weave. So let's think about it with the cross. So down, down, up, up, palms down, palms down, palms up, palms up. What I'm doing here is working on the weave with my left arm underneath. This is my preferred way, and the easier way if you're right-handed and you think about it as the left fan following the right. Left fan down, right fan down, left hand out, right hand out, 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 down, palms down, palms down, palms up, palms up, palms down, palms down, palms up, palms up. And as you start to go from just a static cross into a more smoothed out, you know, so instead of just doing like a harsh placement, you're doing a figure 8 with your place, remove, place, remove, place, remove, place, place, remove, remove, place, place, remove, remove. This is where we're getting into our split time. This is what we're aiming for. So let's try that again. Pinch grip. I was showing you kind of more in a standard grip for the sake of getting the concept of palms up and palms down, but we are wanting to be a pinch grip. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. That's one way to think about it. Similarly, you can use that same Macarena technique, but focus on it with your right arm underneath, in which case you would start with your right hand. Palms down, palms down, palms up, palms up, palms down, palms down, palms up, palms up. Smooth it out and smooth it out and take it out. And eventually, if you get quick enough and in your pinch grip and you build up enough momentum, there we have our split time weave. This is what we are going for.